Some very interesting news coming out from Watcher Guru here this morning. Ripple, of course, the company behind XRP, could be eyeing some deals for FTX assets. In fact, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, contacted Brad Garlinghouse 2 days before they filed for bankruptcy. What did they talk about? We're going to break it down in this video and talk about how Ripple could actually benefit a little bit here if they choose to go with some of these FTX assets and acquire them. We'll see what happens. Right now, there's a lot of controversy going on with the bankruptcy itself because it was filed in the Bahamas. It's a whole jurisdiction war because it's not U.S. based, but they filed for bankruptcy in the United States. So there's a lot going on with the FTX situation. But here's what we do know. Ripple XRP, while they're still going through a major controversy themselves with the SEC, they do have money and they look to be in good standing right now. They're going to spend over $100 million in their legal tussle right now at the SEC, and maybe they could even become stronger through this FTX fallout. So let's dive in and talk about some of the specifics. Make sure you guys hit the like button down below. Also subscribe if you haven't already. We're here every single day. Bull market, bear market, doesn't matter. Bringing you up to speed on what you need to know to become a better investor and a better informed investor at that. So let's dive in here. The crypto ecosystem, of course, is still bearing the brunt of the collapse of the well-established exchange FTX. We say well-established, but it hasn't been around that long. When you really think about it, with FTX, how did it become so big so fast? Well, now we know, right? But from the beginning, several entities have been showing interest to aid Sam Bankman-Fried's bankrupt company. In fact, Binance contemplated tossing a life-saving jacket, right? They were getting ready to buy FTX before they saw the books and said, this is too bad, right? We're not even going to jump in here. Around the same time, Tron's Justin Sun claimed that he was putting together a potential solution with FTX to, in his words, initiate a pathway forward. But it was interesting because blockchain payment company Ripple now is interested in buying certain assets of the crypto exchange FTX. And Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently said that former FTX CEO Bankman-Fried actually called him 2 days before the company filed for bankruptcy as he was looking to round up investors to rescue FTX. Now, at the same time, the two discussed if there were FTX-owned businesses that Ripple would actually want to own, and in this case, acquire. Garlinghouse said this. He said, part of my conversation with SBF was, if he needs liquidity, maybe there are businesses that he has bought or he has that we want to own. Maybe there's investments that we would want to own as well. Would we have bought some of those from him? Question mark. I definitely think that was on the table. So, in fact, FTX executive also had a similar conversation with Binance's executive CZ. When SBF approached CZ about the latter, he said that basically the FTX chief was very quickly alluded that they're in big trouble and they're looking for a buyout. CZ, of course, further asserted that he knew that SBF was now desperate when he came to him. Of course, what happened next was obviously them going under. And so he knew, very early on. In fact, there were reports that he knew back in April that, they were basically insolvent. There are reports that they were insolvent back in April, that people, like SBF and at the top of this food chain here knew, and they were scrambling back then. So obviously no deals got done here and they filed for bankruptcy. So elaborating on why the deals could prove to be a harder path to transact, Garlinghouse said, now with the bankruptcy proceeding path in the United States, it'll be very different than it would have been one-to-one. Right now that they filed bankruptcy, it makes things a little bit more complicated. I'm not saying we want to look at those things. I'm sure we will, but it's a harder path to transact. It's fascinating that SBF did reach out to Garlinghouse and CZ. You wonder who else he reached out to. I'm sure he had conversations with Justin Sun over at Tron. I'm sure he had maybe even conversations with other top crypto executives. But as reported towards the end of the last week, there seems to be a jurisdiction dispute right now at this stage between the United States and the Bahamas, which is also complicating the issue. The Bahamas-based company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the U.S. at the beginning of November. A recently issued statement by the SEC says it's not the understanding of the commission that FTX Digital is a party to the U.S. Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings. So we'll see if Ripple ends up coming back up here and potentially swooping some of these assets up from SBF and FTX. But it sounds like it's pretty complicated now, given where FTX is, the fact they've already filed for bankruptcy, and now that'll be a long, drawn-out process, I'm sure. So we'll continue to monitor this and see if any of these companies do step up and acquire something FTX has. But that's what I've got for you here in this one. And let me know what you guys think down below. Appreciate you guys stopping by. We'll see you in the next video.